Hello.
And welcome to Film Bastards.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to a palindrome, episode 585 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring. As always, I am joined by
Becky Foster. Hello, everybody.
I'm Matt Foster. Hello, everybody. Did you know?
Hi.
Did anyone else notice? I read a thing about it that apparently, it's like the 20th.
Have I had a stroke?
Or the 15th. That's of this year. Like the past 10 days, they are the same backwards as they are forwards from like 6 days from the 19th, something like that. Like the dates run the same way backwards as they do forwards. The American dates.
Oh, stupid dates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking weird. Weirded me out that.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
See if I can find it again, because I explained it terribly there.
Yeah, you did. I don't really know what you're on about.
Well, fuck you. Wasn't you there?
Yeah, fair. This is just dead.
Carry on.
Yeah.
I'll find it. It's definitely a thing. I didn't imagine it. Maybe I did.
Please excuse the technical difficulties. Mark is here. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Fuck off.
What? Shall I carry on?
Carry on.
You haven't had a stroke, Ian. It's just Mark.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Thank you for confirming.
That's fine.
That's it. Every day for the
my
next
word.
10 days.
Oh,
this
God.
was from 4 days ago. The date is the same way backwards.
Uh-huh.
From the 20th to the 29th.
You're going to have to send that because you are still explaining it really badly.
I will. I'll send it to you. A porn star told me.
Gross.
What? Right. No. I refuse. Coming up on this week's show, we will be covering... Is it the final one? Is it not? Who knows? Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And we'll also be catching up on Final Destination Bloodlines. We won't be doing the Phoenician Scheme. I'll talk about it in what we've been watching. There was no way on God's green earth Becky was getting to it, and Mark couldn't get to it because of schedules. So, there we are.
I would just like to read out to you the introduction to an article that I read about that wanker.
You've got to be quite a big fan of Wes Anderson to one trailer hating him.
Yeah. Well, no, that last film was shit as well, though, wasn't it?
It wasn't, but
I mean, it was.
go ahead.
Fuck. Right.
I feel like this has gone weird. Like I used to be the one that didn't like Wes Anderson, but now I'm kind of the one who defends him.
Right, are you ready? Are you ready for this fucking wanky intro? Right? Wes Anderson isn't just a filmmaker. He's a genre unto himself. From the moment you enter one of his cinematic worlds, you're met with carefully composed symmetry, pastel colour palettes, and characters who seem to have stepped out of a storybook written for melancholic adults. His unique visual language is instantly recognisable, whether you're watching Moonrise Kingdom, The Grand Budapest Hotel, or The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Every frame feels handcrafted, every line of dialogue deliberately quirky, and the tone balanced perfectly between whimsy and wistfulness. Just fuck off. Just absolutely fuck off, Wes Anderson.
That's,
I mean, Wes Anderson
he didn't write that.
about himself.
No, but it's just the fucking...
To be fair, I did read that whole article because you sent me it, didn't you? And I did read the whole article, and the guy is just... It's not a good article.
He was clearly just masturbating over a picture of Wes Anderson the entire time he was writing it.
I think he might have been, yeah.
Fucking hell.
But anyway, film that you haven't seen.
I just, honestly, he's just really, like, looking through his filmography, he can just eat a dick now.
Having a wonderful time getting through this intro.
Usually it's my intros that are this mental.
So we listen to like-minded shows such as Trin Stroker vs. Spunter, Entertainment Landfill, The Rewatch Project, and others. And we are recording on the day that the Premier League season has just finished. And we were just talking about it before. I wanted to kind of get into it. So Liverpool basically got to the end of the season, won the title, and then just fell over on the floor exhausted. Is that about right?
We basically...
I think they've just been partying too hard.
It basically... There was
Anna's been in Ibiza.
Well, that was it. That we won it, and the thing there is, what would have happened before this season under the previous manager, who, let's be honest, if he turned around now and went, I'm not as tired as I used to be, I'll come back, I'd be like, cheers Anna, fuck off.
Sploosh.
So, and I very much like Anna Slot. But under the previous regime, it would have been, no, we keep going. We won it. And Anna went, what? You expect us to try?
Fuck off.
We've won it.
Yeah.
I'm off to Ibiza.
Absolute scenes.
Like, well, so you're off to Ibiza? Yeah. Where are the players going? I don't care. You do realise it's done. We've won it. Oh, but what about the points total?
Who gives a fuck?
Do we win more of it?
Can we
Then-
unwin it? Then no.
Who gives a shit? Do you give a shit? I don't give a shit. And it's just...
It would have been nice to have won today.
But
It would have been nice for Gravenberg not to have got a red card as well.
But you've also got to look at it from, like, players who were looking at bringing in must look at it and go, that's a right laugh. You wait in April, you just get like a month off of just having a good grand old time.
Honestly, the footage of them just dancing in the changing rooms to Free From Desire is just like, honestly, cried so many times during the post match bit of that.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those. There's a part of me that thinks they've just done it to wind Mikel Arteta up. that they've gone. It's gone. Right, the Chelsea thing. And Mikel Arteta's just gone. Just don't win again. Just fucking don't win again. It'll burn his head out. It'll absolutely burn his head out.
Yeah.
I
just like the fact that they've just coasted into the end of the season, just running on total vibes. I'm not giving a fuck.
And there's been because obviously I'm in a Liverpool essentially group on Facebook that runs with a podcast that I listen to, and there's a picture on it that somebody has edited of the Liverpool lineup, but they've edited it so they've all got sunglasses on. Their shorts are now swim shorts, and they've all got pina coladas in it, and they're just there. And that basically image has been before every single game. And then somebody put one out for today's that is just them and the Crystal Palace team doing exactly the same. Because you had the double guard of honour. Did you see that?
No, I missed the start.
So obviously, for anyone who isn't in the UK, the Premier League kind of thing where once you've won the title, every team that you play after that has to give you a guard of honour. But they don't have to, but it's a tradition. And so we've won it with quite a lot of games remaining, 4 games remaining. But Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last week. So Crystal Palace gave Liverpool their guard of honour. And then as Liverpool went through the guard of honour, they then formed another guard of honour to go for Crystal Palace to then walk through.
Oh, so it was a circle jerk.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that. But I just think that it was quite a nice thing because Palace winning the FA Cup is a great story football. They're a really good football club. They're a really good fan base. They sing about, they have their own songs, they sing about their own team. Not all of their songs are about hating somebody else.
Yeah.
And they're a good club, and it's their first ever trophy.
Yeah, I said to you, didn't I? Because I don't get the FA Cup. I don't see the appeal of it, and because it's always someone big that wins, and it's people talk about the magic of the FA Cup, where that was the magic of the FA Cup, someone like Palace winning it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just a miserable bitch. But
The FA Cup needs a huge reform. And
at least they don't do fucking replays anymore.
Well, the FA Cup final used to do replays.
What a load of bollocks, eh?
Yeah, the FA Cup final used to do replays. And the same as the League Cup final. I'm fairly certain that I'm not imagining this, but Liverpool once had an League Cup final that went to 3 replays.
No.
Yeah. Then a semi-final that went to 5 once.
I reckon you're making that up.
No, 5. There's 5 replays against West Ham. That was the season before the time we played West Ham. We played 3 replays. So we played on the Saturday. It was at Wembley, and then there was a replay on the Tuesday at Old Trafford, and then there was a replay on the Friday at Villa Park.
I think we're speaking to AI, Mark, and the AI's having a hallucination.
Yeah, it's wild. This was before they just decided fucking extra time penalties.
Yeah,
which they should have been off extra time.
It should have been off extra time if they can't win it in 90 minutes, or like with the case of say a Champions League game where there's 2 legs, 180 minutes. Then fuck it, what they're gonna do with an extra half hour? Just go straight to pens.
Yeah,
it's just knackering everyone out for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does feel. Do you know what? It's weird. It doesn't feel cheap winning on penalties because you're so fucking high on it, aren't you? But it feels cheap losing on penalties.
I don't mind losing on penalties because it's literally just fair.
Yeah, someone has to separate
them. But yeah, so I mean, the Champions League places. It's daft that we have 6 places in the Champions League. It's insane that sorry, Jard, that the team who finished 17th in our league is going to be in the Champions League next season.
And Ange Postecoglou just said on 5 Live before we started recording this that Spurs have had a outstanding season. I think is the word that he used.
Wow,
just
outstandingly bad.
Like literally, he was just like, "We're in the Champions League and we've won a European competition. So what do you want?" Essentially, and I had some like. I thought the fact that his whole "I always win something in the second season" actually came true was something. But there is a lack of grace and humility there.
Yeah. My issue a little bit with it, and there's more so with what might happen with Chelsea winning the Conference League, is Liverpool, for instance, last season were in the Europa League. And we didn't win it. Atlanta won it. We were beaten by Atlanta. Absolutely perfectly fairly. It was an embarrassment that Liverpool didn't win that league. They didn't win that competition last season. An English team should win that pretty much every season. The vast amount of sheer financial might that the Premier League has over every other league there now dictates that, well, you only have to look at it there. The teams that finished 17th and 15th got into the Europa League final.
And but by the same virtue, then you're basically saying that an English team should win the Champions League every year. Because
the disparity between the team that finishes 4th in Spain and the team that finishes 5th in Spain is a lot larger than, for instance, the team that finishes 4th in England and the team that finishes 5th in England.
What about the team that finishes 4th in England and 17th?
What? That's the insanity of it all.
I mean, surely they're just going to get fucking...
I mean, I've said on text to Ian, and I've said to you, my theory on this, that it's actually a better thing for Manchester United not being in the Champions League next year, if you on a footballing level, not on a financial level, on a footballing level, than it is for Tottenham being in it on a purely footballing level. There is the finance bit. There is an argument you could say for the finance bit is because it's the probable fact is, with the exception of a possibility of a huge drop off, there's going to be 5 spots again next season for the Champions League. 3 of them will be taken up by Liverpool, Manchester City, and Arsenal in all likelihood. Touch wood, yeah. In all likelihood, which means that there is still another 2 spots. Possibly 3 with the Europa League, but let's leave that behind there. But the thing is, it's 8 games now in the Champions League. It's not the 6 that it used to be. It's 8 games, and it runs to January. You've also got to factor in the fact that you've got the African Cup of Nations over the Christmas period, which is a big chunk of games there. So you've got a lot going on there where Manchester United can look at it and go, we've got 1 game a week. Exception of like the couple of cup, with the exception of like the possibility of the League Cup, we've got 1 game a week. Whereas Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and Tottenham It's 9 teams there are playing 2 games a week from the start of September until the middle of January. It's around about 3/5 of the season. So it's a big deal. You can tailor your squad a little bit better. You can look at it and go, right, well, this is the squad we need to get into the Champions League, and it's just, you're not going to be as tired. It's harder for those teams to juggle. It's easier for, in theory, again, touch wood, it's easier for Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City to juggle, because quite simply, it's not even the bigger squads, their players are tuned to it.
Yeah.
It's what they have. Whereas it's different for Chelsea are a basket case, so that shouldn't even matter. Newcastle, it's different for them. They struggled last season when they were in Europe. This season they weren't in Europe and they've got back into Europe. Villa found it difficult. Villa's form lately is what shot them up in their form post going out of the cup. There, so they struggled a little bit. Brighton a couple of seasons found it hard when they were in there. It's difficult because you can't mortgage everything, and they're quite well run clubs. The fun thing there is Manchester United are not a well run club, so who knows what will happen there. But there is a little bit of a silver lining to what will happen at Manchester United there. The opposite side of that is, out of all the Premier League clubs, the 17 Premier League clubs, the 2 that have the biggest outstanding transfer debts are Manchester United and Tottenham. So there is the weirdness of everything that goes on within that. But it's been a fascinating season in terms of what's just happened. And where it takes everyone going forward.
It's been a funny season.
It has.
It's felt really weird.
Yeah. Because Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I mean, just on the just on that United point, I'm glad there's not any European football next season.
I think it gives you some breathing space.
Yeah, and the thing about Amorim that just worries me is the fact that he dogmatically insists on the formation, and I'm wary about that. But it's like, give him the. It's not Ten Hag last season, because he hasn't even had a full season yet. And obviously what he did with Sporting was super, super impressive. But there's just rot at the club, and I don't necessarily think it's the manager. There's gonna be a lot of change over the summer. I'm not sure all of it's good. I feel like there's the kind of almost like the smearing of Garnacho's leaving a really nasty taste in my mouth.
It feels very much like there's an orchestrated part of it so that fans don't kick off when he's sold.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Rashford is going to go. There we are. That's all there is to it. Bruno, if that Saudi club are serious, then there's a chance there.
I mean, as a pure outsider with no, and I think I've said this before, I don't carry really bias.
Football grudges.
Football grudges, yeah. Do I think it would be funny if Everton ever went down? Yes. Do I think it's funny?
He's such a dick.
Do I think it's funny that their stadium's called the Hill of Dicks?
Yeah.
Yes. It's funny. But, like,
you don't wish them any specific.
I can objectively look at my United and go, right, I'm not a Manchester United fan. I'm also not a director of football anywhere. But there are quite easy ways you can solve this on a purely footballing level. There's a lot of shit going on in the background that I think it's impossible to solve. And I think that Radcliffe wants the fuck out because he's lost a lot of personal wealth over the past 18 months.
Right.
But if the Saudi bid is anything north of 80 or 90 million for Fernandes, they should sell him.
Yeah.
They should absolutely sell him. He's 31 years old. They don't have the luxury of what Liverpool had a couple of years ago with Salah, of going, right, we can knock this back because we're on a good financial footing. The other bit there is people would say, yeah, but he's our only world-class player. Yeah, but he's 31. Yeah. If he was 27, I'd be saying, no, you need to build a team around him. But what you should look at there and go, well, hang on a minute. So he's your only world-class player, and he's going to get worse in the next 2 years. No matter what, his output will decline in the next couple of years. But you can use that money to buy players who are going to become world-class. The issue is there's this weirdness within United that has existed post-Fergie, where they are a megastar that has a club, not a club that has a megastar. They're a brand that has a football team, and that is the issue. They will look at it and go, "Who can we buy that is a megastar or that is world class?" And the thing there is, you've just finished 7th. You've just finished 15th in the league. Yeah, probably. What are you doing? Yeah. Go out there, build a team, because you have the finances that Everton don't have, and the pull that Everton don't have. You have it there. It is at your fingertips. Manchester United is a draw, but it needs to be done sensibly. You need to look at it and not go, right, next year we need to be back in the Champions League. The year after that we need to be challenging. No. You
Where
need to
did they
be
finish last season?
8th. You know, build it and look at it and go, right, we don't want to bring in 10 players because it's unsustainable. And that's where you sit there and go, where they should have sat there and go, right, what can you use that's already here? Because he seems to have come in and gone, what can I use that's already here? None of it. None of it.
I don't think he's the right manager, though.
But they've kind of either got to go bin it and go, we done got fucked up, but this is Radcliffe's guy, or they've got to actually look at it and go, we back him. But like I think you said, Ian, there, his dogmatic approach to system is, but that system doesn't fit the players.
Yeah, but you look at it, Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur both have that kind of manager, really rigid managers, and they've both massively underperformed this season. Like Spurs are they're not an up there club. They had an out of character good period.
They're a perennial 8th club, yeah.
But they're not 17th. And Manchester United are not 15th. But they've got these managers. You can't be that rigid in the Premier League.
But the amazing thing that Spurs did with the time that they had where they were outperforming their mean, what they did was they went really smartly. They built one of the best stadiums in football. And they instantly flipped their revenue so that they went, well, do you know what? Yeah, we might have Arsenal and Chelsea there, but now we're part of that. But then hired the wrong guy. And it's fallen apart. The fact is that there's just... If you go back 10 years ago, and let's say the top 1, 2 or 3, or even the top 4, the teams that finished between 20th and 10th were unlikely to have a single player in their squad that one of those teams would have in their squad. Now, if you go from 10th, there's a couple of players that play for Brentford that would get into the squads, not necessarily first teams, of the top 4 teams. Fulham, there's a couple of players I think would maybe get into squads, maybe. Crystal Palace, absolutely. Everton have Branthwaite. Nobody else, but they have Branthwaite. West Ham, Kudus, Jarrod Bowen is there. Paqueta is there. I mean, granted, he's probably betting against him not going, but Paqueta's definitely there. Man United. Wolves, Cunha, decent player. You know, Arsenal looked at signing him. Jean Mario's a decent player. There's players there. Tottenham, they've even got a couple of players. But it's just you didn't have that 10 years ago, so it's harder. The gap between the top three is bigger than it has been between everybody else, and then the gap between 4th and 8th maybe is bigger. But then the gap between 8th and 17th isn't that big anymore. So a couple of injuries or a couple of bad signings or a couple of good signings for those teams, or just being run well, like a Brighton, Bournemouth and Brentford. The behind the scenes things that go on at Brentford, Bournemouth and Brentford, in the way that the hierarchies run those clubs, in the use of data analysis and things like that, that's what they are based on, is data. And it's no coincidence that they are in 8th, 9th and 10th. And then teams like, for instance, historically much, much bigger clubs, like Everton, West Ham, Manchester United and Tottenham, who haven't taken on as much of that data-driven approach. Tottenham did, but then they scaled it back. Haven't taken on as much of that data approach. Have started to fall behind. You've got to be smart with your money, and the problem is Manchester United's money just isn't the only thing that they've got anymore, because Brighton will have made more this year out of the Premier League than Man United.
Yeah.
It's yes, they don't have the commercial revenues that these clubs have. They probably never will. It doesn't exist there, but being just turning up with the biggest sack of cash, it doesn't work anymore. You've got to know where to spend it properly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happened. But also as well, I would have a better time as a fact. I'd probably hate it at the time, but Liverpool's biggest rival is Manchester United. That's it. They just are. And we've never had an actual... And United would say the same thing about Liverpool. There's never actually realistically ever been a proper title race between those two teams.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s when we were in anything, United were not great. And the 70s when we were winning things, they were not great. In the 60s when United were winning everything, we were in League Two. So we weren't great. And then people go, oh, what about the bits in the late 90s? Come on. We got close, but we were never in a title race. No. We were Arsenal chasing us this season in a title race. You know, very good. You know, you did well. Have your participation badge.
I can't hear you from all the way back there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, somebody at work, a guy at work, is a United fan, and he's a lovely guy, and we have like good fun banter with him. And while we were away on holiday, we got beat by Chelsea, didn't we? The 3-1. And he sent me videos on Instagram of all the Chelsea goals and the end result at the end. And I just sent him a picture of the Premier League table. But I'd filled in between where Liverpool were and where Man United were with, sorry, I can't hear you from all the way up here.
Well,
but yeah, genuinely, it's one of those things I could talk about for years. So I'm sorry if I bored people there.
I'll just say, between United and Cardiff going down rock bottom of the Championship this season, it's been wonderful.
It's not been a good one, has it, for you?
Suffice it to say, I've not renewed my season ticket. I'm done.
I don't blame you.
Awful fucking performances. Like, yeah. Anyway, right. Trailers. What have we got?
Right. Before we get into new trailers, I am going to say a couple of existing trailers that I watched in the cinema that changed my opinion a little bit.
Okay.
So, Smashing Machine, underwhelmed by the trailer. Right? Mm-hmm. Saw the trailer in the cinema, and it clicked with me.
Do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. It works, doesn't it, somehow?
Yeah.
I like
kind of does.
Yeah. It felt different. I think it hit. I think it's maybe to do with the way it's shot. Felt a little bit TV. So watch it on a smaller screen made it feel less cinematic. But then watch it on a big screen, it was a bit like, oh, I actually get it. I also really like the look of the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, it looks good actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's written by David Koepp,
Yep.
who wrote the screenplay for the original. You know, Gareth Edwards knows how to make good-looking stuff. And Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, I think that's an interesting fucking double bill
And the thing is,
to lead. Yeah.
do I think that Scarlett Johansson looks like somebody who could do that kind of badass job? Yeah. And Mahershala Ali, it's like, I was a little bit dubious, but yeah, you are rocking the shit out of that beret.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's turned up with that beret, and then was just gone. Yeah, all right. It's like, for the costume department brought that. He brought it himself.
And it's just, it's the fact that, yes, the producers, but aside from that, none of the creative people had anything to do with the last 3 Jurassic World films.
Yes.
It's completely scrubbed. Trevorrow, bye-bye.
Yep.
And let's have a crack at it. Like, I don't know. It just, they shot on real locations and it looks it.
Yeah.
Because Jurassic World Dominion, and I know it wasn't really their fault, but one of the things about that film is that it feels so fucking set bound.
Yeah.
But it was shot in COVID times that,
Well, that's it.
You could kind of understand it.
I saw a little. I remember seeing a featurette of the bit where they're in the market. There's a big chase in a market, isn't there?
In the last Jurassic World.
In the last Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I remember seeing a featurette about how they shot that, and it's in an aircraft hangar. And then once you saw the aircraft hangar, I was like, oh my god. And then when I looked at the movie again, because I've watched it twice, I looked at that, I was like, you can see the curve of where it goes up.
Yeah.
And it's like, once you know, and it's why sometimes you don't need to watch, what is it? But with this, it was quite interesting. I was like, yeah, that's an aircraft hangar. And you can almost see the boxes for where they've put things for him to ride along. It's like, well, why would that go like that?
But yeah, the new one looks good.
Yeah. What else have we had? Caught stealing.
I have not seen this.
Right, Becky, you need to watch it now.
Yeah. You go watch it through there.
Okay.
It is
give me a Pepsi,
incredibly
really?
fucking
Yeah.
Becky coded.
Yeah. She's still taking her headphones off, but yeah, it is, isn't it? But yeah, well, it's very Becky coded. So yeah, we'll cover a different one before that. Right. It's trailer related. So we're in Cineworld, right? And the screen that we went to see Mission Impossible in was the screen. We didn't see it in Screen X, but it was the Screen X screen, right?
Yep.
So you get like a big thing that comes on that says, on the screen says, you're in a Screen X screen, but this isn't a Screen X film. However, and then you get introduced to by Gerard Butler and and his lad from How to Train Your Dragon, talking about the Screen X experience, and we're going to show you a little bit of it. And the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon 2, whatever it is, just How to Train Your Dragon, isn't it?
Yeah.
The live action starts in Screen X. Oh, it's not in Screen X. It's just the middle screen. There's nothing on the side screens. And I just thought, this is so incredibly Cineworld.
So what? Like, so the film you were seeing didn't have a Screen X version, but it was supposed to be a Screen X version trailer of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. And then to fuck it up just even more, after that there was like a little a little bit that the lad and Gerard Butler did afterwards, talking about the film and about cinema and bits like that. And it was like, all right, fair enough, yeah, but get on with it now. And then they went, right, now enjoy your movie. And then it was like, that was it. We thought, fucking great, the movie's going to start. No, because it's Cineworld, you get another advert. And it was another RAF advert because, yeah, that, for some reason, was playing in Screen X. So you had 3 versions of it, but not like it had been formatted for Screen X. It was the trailer, the advert was playing, but it was also playing the same on the Screen X bits at the side. So it was just really confusing. And it's just, this is just why things aren't going well for you, Cineworld.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to have died down a bit, the whole they're in trouble. Like, they closed those sites and whatnot, and then...
Well, they got like essentially like a bridge loan, didn't they? I'll try to look and see what else we've had trailer-wise. It's not been that much, has there?
No, I didn't think there had been, actually.
No. There was the F1 trailer, because it was the new trailer. People seem to be into that in my screening.
I've seen that. I saw that. I saw the not the new trailer, but the one previous. The bit where Damson Idris says to him, like, when was the last time you won a race? And he was like, I won, like, last night I won Daytona. And he was like, oh no, I meant F1. And then Brad Pitt's like, oh, I'm sorry, same as you. That always gets at least one laugh in any screening I'm in, and it's not me.
It was positive.
That film...
Yeah.
As long as it gets at least okay reviews, I think is going to do very, very well.
Yeah.
Even though it made me laugh. They showed it to like drivers and a lot like team principals.
Did Van Stappen just not show up?
Day. Yeah, Verstappen and Lance Stroll didn't show up. To be fair, Verstappen just had a kid like 2-3 weeks ago. So he was like, I wanted to spend some time with my daughter. I will go and see it, and it was, okay, fair enough. But it made me laugh that I think it was Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes' new driver. Like, they'd all signed NDAs. They're not allowed to really say anything. There were some positive reactions, but he was like, "Yeah, that was really good, but it was really long." And it was like, I don't think you were supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as long as the word of mouth for it is not toxic, I think that film is going to do very well. The problem is that it already cost a fucking shitload to begin with. That's going to be the problem, because they had to reshoot a bunch of stuff because they were delayed in filming, and then when it was the next season, drivers had changed teams, and some of the teams had changed the looks of their cars.
Yeah, didn't it cost something around about 300 million?
It was about 300 million, yeah.
Oh, it's a spicy meatball. I think it'll do all right.
Yeah.
I also think...
It will do... I think it will do at least 400 worldwide, which is... not... That would be not amazing, but the fact is it's been bankrolled by Apple, and it's a marketing expense for them.
Yeah, this is the thing. There's a lot of things of saying that when you see... like films that have anything sort of plus 250 million as a budget, but some of that, it's not, you don't necessarily have to look at it. These films don't have to make, they have to make a lot of money. They don't have to make the billion that you think they do. So what is it?
If F1 does like 500, 600 worldwide, that'll be fine.
Yeah,
they'll be all right with that.
A film that I think is going to do very, very well, because everybody in our screening went very quiet when the trailer came on, is Fantastic Four.
The more I see...
Are you being sarcastic or no?
No, I've been genuinely serious. Genuinely, everybody was just wittering through the trailers, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then when that trailer came on, it went really quiet.
Oh, you told a lady off, didn't you?
In the cinema during Mission Impossible, yeah, because she's been a fucking dick.
She was being an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I scared her a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
Because she
yeah.
went, "Ugh!"
Yeah.
Good stuff.
She needed to turn off. They were talking
They were
at
just
normal
talking
volume.
yeah.
And it had been going on. They'd quietened down a little bit and they'd stopped. But then every time they started talking, it was at normal volume. So I just leaned over and went, is there any chance you could be a bit quieter?
Could keep it down a bit.
Keep it down
is
a bit,
actually what
that's
he
it.
said, yeah.
I mean, literally, the guy behind me tapped me on the shoulder afterwards.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But yeah.
What, like, thank you for doing
Yeah,
that?
he just tapped me. He laughed a little bit and then just tapped me.
They weren't talking
good.
quietly and we could hear them because we were just behind them. They were talking at normal conversation volume
Yeah.
that you would talk at.
Like
in a pub.
literally going, oh, you see, in the last film, he was in the black... And it's like, mate, if she hasn't fucking seen it, don't bring her to the sequel.
She doesn't deserve to be here.
Yeah. So you're about
Well,
to...
I mean, it's all right, because the Entity does a PowerPoint presentation in the first half hour, and it tells you everything you needed to know anyway.
Well, we'll get into that.
You were about to say something about the Fantastic Four. Because they've got their own jingle, haven't they?
The more I see it, the more excited I am for it, to be honest.
Right, that's interesting.
Why?
I think it looks like an absolute piece of shit. Like, it looks...
I don't know, man.
It looks fucking hideous.
Oh, it really doesn't.
It fucking does.
You're talking shite there.
It looks horrible.
You're talking absolute shite there. The aesthetic of it's really good.
Don't like it.
3 out of the 4 main cast are people that I really, really like. And I'm happy to give it a go.
I've
noticed that...
Stop it! Right? I don't need
Fucking
to see
hell.
You'll fucking pay for that there.
I was talking.
I thought, yeah, he better do, Bex.
I'm tired of seeing Vanessa Kirby be pregnant in things. And Hansi Pascal is getting a little bit weird.
No. Everyone loves Pedro Pascal except you.
Right, so, look, I'm on Becky's side with this film. I think it looks like it's going to be fun.
I'm not talking
but
to you, don't want me. Sorry, go on. I'm
the
talking
Pedro
to you.
Pascal, like, literally, there better be no skeletons in that guy's cupboard, because the way that Hollywood seems to be doubling down on Pedro Pascal, it's like they're putting everything on black, you know, like, and I just, if it wasn't someone who looked like Pedro Pascal saying that he needs to, like, basically touch his other co-stars because he's anxious, I'm not entirely sure they would be getting nearly as much grace as Pedro Pascal is getting. And I'm leaving it there.
I mean, Pedro Pascal could hold my hand on a red carpet anytime.
That's
so.
fine. That's fine. But could John Lasseter?
But
There you go.
if he was really anxious, then I don't even know what a John Lasseter is, to be honest. But he does suffer from really bad anxiety. It's like a well-known fact.
I suffer from really bad anxiety when I'm near, like, people like Anna de Armas and Vanessa Kirby and all sorts of people like that. I don't suffer it when I'm near ugly people.
But he holds... He
Good-looking dudes as well.
Yeah, he holds
he
male
like.
co-stars.
I suffer from bad anxiety when I'm around hot men. But not unhot men.
He just doesn't really surround himself with ugly people, and I respect that. I wouldn't either if given the choice. But here I am married to you.
Oh! There you go, that's John Lasseter.
What the fuck is that?
John Lasseter.
He's an ugly chap, isn't he?
There you go then.
If he was really anxious, I'd let him hold my hand though.
Alright.
He's just... Everyone likes Pedro Pascal. Everyone likes Vanessa Kirby. She does a weird thing though that I've noticed, because we watched obviously
Fallout
yeah.
and Final Dead Reckoning. Dead Reckoning. Yeah.
Reckoning.
I told you I never want to hear the word reckoning ever again in my entire life. she does a weird thing with her head when she's like, huh? Where she goes, and she goes really far back with her head. And I thought it was a character thing, but it's not. It's a Vanessa Kirby thing because she does it in the Fantastic Four trailer as well.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just. I think she's a really like enigmatic screen presence.
She's fucking hot.
She is hot, yeah. Again, like seeing her pregnant brings back that other awful movie, but you know she's only pregnant for like a second in the trailer. And then she's very quickly not pregnant again. So I'm assuming she just, like, squirts that puppy out and gets on with life.
Yeah.
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 And then what's his chops out of Stranger Things? I like him. The other guy out of the bear, I don't really give a shit about, but he's made a rock in this movie, so that's fine.
Nah, Richie from the Bears, good boy. So, yeah, good to have him there.
I hope everyone has a very nice time.
Alright, well, you don't have to see it.
I will see it.
I'll make you a deal. You don't have to see that if I don't have to see Superman Jr. or whatever the fuck it is.
I will go and see it. I am currently underwhelmed by the trailer.
Underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say as well, I'm betting now, and I'm thinking about my Oppenheimer betting and how bad that was. Superman is going to gross less than Fantastic Four and Jurassic World, and I think palpably so. The fact that is coming out a week after Jurassic World and 2 weeks before Fantastic Four is really, really going to fuck it.
The really weird thing is, though, is... Because, like...
And no one cares about Superman.
Yeah, but his films always seem to do alright.
Whose?
They do okay.
Yeah, they never do. That's a good point. They never do. They do all right. But they never go absolute fucking gangbusters. Whereas the Jurassic movies always seem to do really fucking well.
And I mean, look, when it comes to Rachel Brosnahan, like "Bestill my beating vagina," to quote Mamma Mia, here we go again.
Yeah,
but yeah, so you know, I want to like that film.
I want to like all films.
I don't want to like that film.
Apart from Jafrican, I don't want to like that.
Apart from what? Apart from what?
Oh,
you weren't on the show that week, were you, Bex? Yeah.
Peter Andre Jafrican. Just don't. It will genuinely make you think you've had a stroke.
Okay.
But also, speaking of having a stroke, Bex, caught stealing.
Oh yeah, that's Becky Nick.
Right, but can you like it because the people in it are way too sexy? Is it not distracting?
What?
Apparently it's hard to like movies now because people are too sexy.
Okay,
I think that makes it easier to like them. No one wants to watch a film filled with uggos.
Quick bit of context. Vanity Fair's Little Gold Men podcast has been doing Dispatches from Cannes all this week, and I'm maybe slightly paraphrasing, but essentially two men who happen to be gay who were at Cannes reviewing the films said that Harris Dickinson's directorial debut, I can't remember the name of the film, the actor in it, Frank Delane, was too hot for the role, and that there needs to be a moratorium on hot directors.
Who's the hot director?
You know,
Harris Dickinson.
But he's not hot.
Oh, he's an incredibly good-looking man.
He isn't.
He just is, Becky.
He isn't.
Well,
He looks
you're
gormless.
But you know, and it was said kind of
looks like
jokingly, but also they were made like the whole "he's actually too hot for the role that he's playing" thing. Just the double standards that you could apply to that in so many ways. I can't even. So that's what Mark was referring to.
Urchin, it's called, yeah, and apparently it's very good.
That's it.
Very well reviewed.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And that's, It just, Frank Delane I think he plays a homeless dude, and apparently he's too hot to be homeless or something.
I mean, like, that's just silly. He plays Tom Riddle in the Harry Potter movies, like young Tom Riddle. You know, like Voldemort.
Yeah.
Which my brain always changes to Monty Mort because of The Simpsons.
That's good. Right, caught stealing.
Yeah, I'll take a movie with
Aussie
Austin
B.
Butler in his pants.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. And there's what's her face?
Zoe
Kravitz for the boys.
Yep.
Well, and the girls.
And the girls.
Everyone can enjoy everyone.
I'm going to enjoy everyone in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's Matt Smith with his gigantic.
I mean, yeah, that brings it down a little bit.
I don't know. I think he's just leaning in. I'm up for that.
I do enjoy Matt Smith's commitment to roles. Actually, to be fair, like he's not done much since he quit Doctor Who to go and be a Hollywood guy, but the stuff that he's done, he's really fucking committed to, and you got to respect that.
There's a little bit of an element of, like, the whole he quit just at the wrong time.
I was having an in-depth discussion about Doctor Who at work the other day, and I you know, when you just go off and then you realise that people aren't actually responding anymore, and you're just monologuing.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
The Doctor Who discourse is something. There's just a lot of it that for me is like the worst person in the world just made a good point when it comes to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I hate the whole it's shit because it's woke.
This was the conversation that I was having. Yeah, go on.
For several seasons, a lot of Doctor Who has felt like it's lecturing you.
Yeah. Things that are to use the word wrong, billed as woke, that are just organically that. People just need to get a fucking grip and be up to date on social matters. Things that are performatively woke in bunny ears and are virtue signalling can just get in the fucking bin. You don't deserve the accolades for it. It's like... I do kind of feel a little bit like that about that one episode of The Last of Us that everyone creamed their pants over. That felt like it was included just so that they could go, look what we did though.
There's a little bit... Yeah. I don't watch it. So it's not my... but it feels a little bit like sometimes you have things where they go, we're going to make this to prove a point. And it's like, no, the problem is you're making that to prove a point. What you don't seem to actually ever grasp is you're just blowing oxygen at their fire.
That's the problem. It's like there's a woke agenda, and it's just like the thing is, it's an agenda that I agree with, but holy fucking shit is it going, if you don't agree with this, you are a cunt. and there's no trying to bring people on board.
Yeah.
And there was one bit that, there was an episode with a lot of sign language, and it was like set on a world where sign was like acceptable, like it just like a language people understood. And I don't know, there was something like, oh yes, every nurses really should understand sign language, and it was just a bit. Nurses have a pretty fucking tough time as it is. They're like low paid and they have to deal with an awful lot of shit. And now, if I'm a nurse, I'm being told that I'm actually a dickhead for not knowing sign language.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit like, come on. And it's such a shame because Scooty Gatwa fucking rules as Doctor Who.
The writing's just shit though, isn't it? From what I understand.
And it has been for a while. Before Russell T Davies came back, like the Jodie Whittaker era, it was a sit down kids for a Sunday evening lesson every week.
Yeah.
And I actually stopped watching it then, and then I came back on when Scooty Gatwa came on, and there's just like they did this episode where this like 2D animation like burst through the screen and like became kind of corporeal, which was like really, really cool. And like every now and then there are concepts that are like that one with the sign language. The actual concept behind it is really, really good, and the ending was dark as fuck, and like that. But at the same time, it's also just very. We're going to do a very thinly veiled, here's reform and here's what would happen if reform took control. And it's so obvious and so not nuanced that certain tabloids and publications can just go, look at what they're doing with our license fee money.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not subtle enough.
No, it's not. And the problem is, there's too much of that, and it's just, you're not convincing anybody of anything. You're just making their point.
Yep. Exactly that as well. And it's the same thing for fucking years, where it's just like, so much of this stuff is just preaching to the choir. And also, you do that so much that you get people like me saying, do you know, they're really fucking banging on. It's not like I'm suddenly going to go like, do you know what, Nigel Farage is actually making some really good points. But there are some people that I really, really could think feel so fucking battered down by this stuff that it is just like, do you know what, just shut the fuck up.
It's a bit like, I already agree with you. I'm here watching Doctor Who, so obviously I fucking agree with you. Just leave me alone and let me watch my show.
Yeah. No, I mean it's exactly that, you know. And yeah. Anyway,
how do we get onto Doctor Who?
Doctor Who's probably going to be put on fucking hiatus next week anyway. So like, it's probably not coming back anytime soon. Sorry, Bex.
Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. Caught stealing. Yes, big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got completely off track.
It's going to be fun watching a film like that is just a little bit more linear, a little bit more sort of like straight down the middle than what he usually comes out with.
Yeah.
Hey, it'll be better than The Whale.
That's it. It will be, and it's not. It doesn't seem to be high concept, or there isn't the usual hook that he tries to put into things. It just seems like he's gone, I'm kind of just going to make a movie.
Yeah.
Is
there anything else?
I think that's it.
No, I mean, we're an hour in, so we may as well review a film.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say so, probably.
Fuck, it's a bank holiday weekend. Just because I've been drinking. Sorry. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is directed by Christopher McQuarrie and The Entity, and stars Tom Cruise, that guy from that one, that guy from that other one, that guy from that other one that you never thought would be in another one, but there he is. Her from Ted Lasso, him from Severance. And the story, according to IMDb, our lives are the sum of our choices. Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Fair.
I mean, the plot line actually is Ethan Hunt is there to atone for all our sins, and only he can save us from the end. Ethan Hunt is our Jesus Christ, and we must all listen to him tell you to do the thing that you really, really wouldn't expect yourself to do.
Do you know who you've got to do it for, though, Ian?
Those we love and those we'll never meet.
Exactly. I think they mentioned that maybe once or twice during the movie. Or,
it's funny though, because
84 times.
But you know who he doesn't mention once?
The love of his life.
Yeah.
I reckon there's been a falling out there. I really do think there's been a falling out there. For them to write her out. So, right, fuck you then. It is a real fuck you then, right out.
It is not just the... And I'd kind of obliquely mentioned this to Mark as something Becky was going to hate. No, or maybe it was Noel, and then Noel laughed. I don't know. Anyway, it is actually offensive how much Ilsa is forgotten in this, especially when it is, it is the second part of the film where she was killed off.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
And the way she's in like a flashback shot and is not mentioned once by name. Even though, then again, that woman who like got killed 30 years ago and set Hunt off on this path, they bring her up in the first part.
Yeah.
No fucking idea really what happened there. Gabriel never tells us because he's not a character anymore.
No.
Sorry, Becky.
No, I just genuinely get the feeling that Rebecca Ferguson and Christopher McQuarrie had a fucking falling out about the fact that she didn't want to do this anymore, and it wasn't all quite as amicable as it was presented to be when Dead Reckoning came out. Because obviously we've now rewatched in the run up to Final Reckoning, we rewatched all of them, and I rewatched Dead Reckoning for the first time since the cinema when I was spectacularly fucking disappointed in it. And I didn't dislike it this time. I think tempered expectations and obviously knowledge of the character death that pissed me off so much last time allowed me to enjoy the rest of the movie more. But she genuinely just really isn't fucking mentioned after she dies. They just get on with their day.
There's a scene between what's his name, Ving Rhames, Luther, and Grace.
Yeah.
Just after it.
Yeah,
but then after that, no, there's no mention. And I think Ian's right. I think with the exception of, I don't think there's a single mention of her in this movie.
No.
There's a couple of flashbacky shots towards the start. That fucking bizarre way that the film opens with just the blue entity blob and the clips of previous films. And that's before he gets in the thing and then has the blue entity blob tell him shit for 5 minutes.
Well, it doesn't help the fact that in this one, it kind of looks a little bit like the Who Wants to Be Millionaire logo.
Oh, yeah, it really does. That's a good call. Right, Bex, what do you think of Final Reckoning?
Again, I think I have issues with it. It genuinely, if I watch these movies not knowing that Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and this were all made by the same person, and you told me that the last two were made by a completely different filmmaker, writer, etc.,
who had not seen Dead Reckoning.
No, but both of them are completely like what? Like tonally, just completely different from Rogue Nation and Fallout, and not as good. The issue that the Mission Impossible franchise has is that it Icarus. It flew far too close to the sun with Fallout, and it made pretty much the perfect action movie.
That's it.
And there was never going to be any beating that. The best they could hope for was to match it, and they just fucking haven't. Like they've failed. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Dead Reckoning a lot more on rewatch, and I enjoyed Final Reckoning fine. Like it was a nice wrap up to the series, but really, really, really big dip in quality from Fallout to these two. I think whatever's happened with Rebecca Ferguson, replacing her with Hayley Atwell, A does not equal B here. She's just not very good. The writing in this one is at points just fucking painful, just really, really clunky. It feels like it's treating every sentence out of everybody's mouth like a poignant fucking gem of wisdom. And, like, I never want to hear the word reckoning again. It's like we were saying after we came out of the cinema. If your movie's called The Final Reckoning, you cannot say The Final Reckoning as a phrase more than once without it sounding fucking stupid. This says The Final Reckoning as a phrase at least 3 times and uses the word reckoning in some context bajillions of times throughout the movie. For those we care about and those we'll never meet, that can also get in the bin. Go on.
And how many times is there a shot of people standing up and turning around, standing up from their desks and turning around, kind of one by one slowly.
My God, that bit at the end.
Yeah. I didn't clock that, but yeah, there is actually.
That bit at the end when the mission's been completed and he's wherever the fuck he is, I can't even remember now. And then like each member of the team sort of
Trafalgar Square
moves into like shot and then looks at him, and then moves into shot and looks at him, and then none of them go, "Oh my God, Ethan, hi!" and like goes over.
Why can't they talk to him?
Do you know what would be the perfect end to this to this thing though?
What?
And what would have actually been this would have been a more fun ending when they're doing all of that and they do that and Paris goes off and then Grace goes off and the last one he does is Benji, innit? If he just turned around and went, "Actually, just fancy a pint,"
Yeah,
and it just went, "Yeah."
Yeah, why?
That would have been a better if him and Benji, because they've been in a lot of them together and they're supposed to be like friends. If they just wandered off and just went, "It's weird, this, isn't it? What our lives?"
But yeah, why are they all at distance and just looking longingly at each other? Like, what the fuck's that all about?
Because there's no plot reason for
No,
it.
there is no plot reason for it. I'm really glad they sorted out Pom Clementieff's hair for that final scene, though, because just having that ropey, shitty bleached hair throughout the entire two movies. Well, yeah, of course she did. He's just not. It's not great, and
hot mess.
She's a hot mess. She's actually mint in this. I actually think she's probably like, with the exception of obviously Ethan Hunt, probably my favourite because she's just fucking psychotic and I love it.
I like that she's just called Paris because she's French.
Yeah. What else? Blink of an eye. That's another one that's repeated. Blink of an eye. No, shut up. Haley Atwell as an agent as well. Like, I don't like Haley Atwell as a person, so I'm not trying to like
as a person.
Yeah,
shit.
I just don't like her. No, but like as a screen presence, as an actress, I don't like her. So as a character, my view is coloured. But is she or is she not just a really shit agent?
Oh no! I mean, yeah. I mean, she is just Timu Ilsa. It's really, really weird.
No, because like
they
Ilsa's not like grossed out by gore. Ilsa would have got the hint from the Inuit woman. Then she wouldn't have had to smash that guy in the face with a shovel. And she's just stood there being
And then she just has some like really weird. Why does that decompression chamber have enough space for two people? and like, you know, that whole scene, it's like, are they actually going to just fuck in there? Like, what? And it's not because there's sexual tension.
And is the Inuit woman going to watch?
Yeah, exactly. Just what? Like, honestly. So, oh God, this is going to be a long review, but never mind. I was listening to a podcast Bill Simmons does from the Ringer called The Rewatchables. And he's made this point a few times where Top Gun Maverick, that scene where Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly are like at her home before he like jumps out the roof, out the window, and they're just laughing. And you don't know why they're laughing. They're just laughing. And it is just like, does Tom Cruise just not understand how to have an interaction with a woman? For whatever reason that may be, does he just not, like, why? Why in all of, when was the last time he kissed a woman on screen? Was it Rock of Ages?
He kisses, what's her name in Ghost Protocol?
Paula Patton.
Yeah.
Does he?
That's like a trick thing, though.
Yeah.
Like he's playing a part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly, the last time I can remember him having any kind of romantic tension with anyone on screen was him singing "I Want to Know What Love Is" to Malin Ackerman's arse in Rock of Ages.
I think we've all done before.
Yeah, I mean, if we were all so lucky. Like, it just... This film is like, I think Tom Cruise might actually be a fucking alien. Anyway, sorry.
I can't remember.
Shall I just go?
Yeah,
Shall
go.
I just do my thoughts or something? I don't know, Bex. I mean, like, obviously we don't have to like end your thoughts there. But was there anything else you wanted to say like now?
I really, really hated how the William Donlow stuff was handled. Because he came up on screen and it's like, oh my fucking god, it's him from One. And then it says his name and it's like, okay. And then it goes, Bill Donlow, William Donlow. Just in case you don't know that William's short, you know, like
The guy from Mission Impossible 1. You're here.
Yeah, and it's just like, it so over-explains the joke, and it's like, right, couple of things. If you're here watching Final Reckoning, you've probably watched the Mission Impossible movies, so you'll probably recognise that guy's face. If not, he was in a clip earlier in the movie. So, you know, there's that. If you don't recognise him from Mission Impossible 1 because you've not watched it, explaining the joke is not going to make you get it. So leave it there as an Easter egg for the people that do, and just skim over it for the people that don't. You don't have to fucking hammer it home. And it made me feel like the quality of the writing, it really sort of highlighted to me how low the quality of the writing in this is.
No, Ian, you make your point and I'll make a broader point on that that I actually agree with you on it. But
Okay.
Ian, go.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was in the boy chat yesterday. For me, the Final Reckoning is the Ghostbusters Afterlife of the Mission Impossible franchise. Now, what do I mean by that? Ghostbusters Afterlife, when it came out, Jason Reitman was saying about how it was a big Easter egg hunt. They like really designed it to be look at all this shit that you remember from 40 years ago. Final Reckoning, I feel like when Dead Reckoning came out and people were tepid on it, and then Barbenheimer happened, I think that really fucked with McQuarrie and Cruise.
Yes.
And I think they went, all right, what have people liked about these films? Okay, the action and the portentous dialogue that, Ethan Hunt is the living manifestation of destiny. You know, like that kind of stuff. And people were like, holy shit, that's so fucking cool. And then also, what are people liking at the moment? Deadpool versus Wolverine. That was calling back. That was Deadpool versus Wolverine. I was worried it was going to teach Hollywood the wrong lessons. And I genuinely think that they looked at films like that and went, we got to tie shit in. We've got to have Easter eggs. We've got, every fucking thing has got to connect to something else, even if it doesn't make sense. Like the rabbit's foot actually being malicious code when it was in a genetics laboratory and had a biohazard label on it. Just absolutely fucking not.
There's ways to even write that differently. To say that it was a piece of malicious code, and then to hide it, we put it inside a biological weapon.
Yeah, or something like that, and the fact that then that means that the fact that Hunt stole it, he is the cause of all of this stuff, and that just feeds into the Tom Cruise. I am the guy who has saved movies. I am the guy representing movies and the war against motion smoothing. And I am here to make the world better again. And, that is what Ethan Hunt is in this film. For the first hour, it is just repeated again and again about how he's the cause of this stuff, but he is also the only person on Earth who can possibly save the world, and everyone needs to listen to him. Only he knows the answers. And the way that is just weirdly tapping into the Cruise persona, I mean, like, the film he's doing with Inarritu next is about someone who is convinced the world is going to end and is he thinks he set things in a chain that is going to end the world and he has to stop it. But as an Inarritu film, it's... And, I mean, I've got no... You know, Top Gun Maverick... One of my fucking 4 favourites on Letterboxd. So, you know, there you go. This film, their brains were fucking scrambled by people just going meh to Dead Reckoning after they really, really thought that it was gonna like blow up because of Fallout. Like you said, Bex. Sorry, perfect. Fallout. It was them being Icarus. And that has really, really fucked with these films. And I will just end off on, can anyone fucking tell me why Ving Rhames is suddenly dying in this film?
Yeah, I wondered that. Doesn't make any mention in Dead Reckoning of him being ill or anything, and then suddenly he's...
Nope.
I think the only reason why, and I'm not saying I agree with this or anything like that, the only reason I can think of why is because it gave them a writing out that Ethan would understand why he didn't need to save him. That is what I think that will have been.
But also, I mean, Ving Rhames is like, or Luther is like, look, you are the one who needs to save us all. You need to go, which should be powerful enough in the screenplay without him just randomly fucking like, what? And also, sorry, just on that bit as well, just another question. Tom Cruise, that Ethan Hunt is like tasered or whatever at that party, wakes up in that place, escapes, and immediately knows where to run to get back to his hideout to Luther.
What? Also, the other bit there is, I know it's London, right? But I'm sure it would have been quicker to have got an Uber.
So just on the Luther thing, right? And calling back to what I said earlier about them trying to make every single fucking sentence be poignant. They're trying so hard to imbue every second of this movie with so much gravity that when they're actually... Luther has been there since the very fucking start.
And he's only technically not in one. And
when he dies, it's like... That should have been really fucking sad. That should have been really, really heart-wrenchingly sad. But because they're so much, oh my God, feel this, and then listen to this, and feel this. Oh, we're ripping your heart out. That when he dies, it's like, okay, now what? Like, the genuinely poignant moments are lost in the sea of, bleh. It's almost Spielbergian.
I just... The thing... I was so fucking profoundly disappointed by this film, but I will say things I liked. Tremel Tillman, who plays Mr. Milchek in Severance, he's the guy who keeps on calling him Mr., the submarine commander. Yeah. That was some really much needed vibes at that point in that film.
What's the chops out of Love Lies Bleeding, actually? I really enjoyed her as well.
Yeah, she was alright.
Is that who that was?
Katie O'Brien. Yeah.
Ah.
I really enjoyed her. She was just like... She was just very straightforward, and like the sign off of "Don't you fucking mess up my suit" was just like, it was good. I liked her.
Yeah, like, you know,
that whole submarine section actually I really enjoyed.
It was good. Yeah, until the action sequence. But I was talking about things I liked. The biplane stuff at the end. I really, really enjoyed Gabriel just fucking laughing like a maniac in basically every single shot. Yeah. Like, I don't know what I mean, it wasn't the same character as the first fucking film. I didn't know what was going on there. But the fact that he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to try and kill you. Whoa, let's do a loop. And laughing. I like that. But that sequence is astounding. Like, there is a bit where he's in between the two kind of like bits of the biplane and lets go for a second and then like catches another bit that I actually said fucking hell out loud. You know, like, that stunt sequence is weapons grade holy shit action cinema. And there's maybe about 2 minutes in a 169-minute Mission Impossible film that I would say was that. That's the stuff I liked.
Speaking to that, though, it really annoyed me, like, a couple of scenes before where he's like, oh, I've got a plane and it's all analog. So
a spare plane.
And I even brought a spare,
Sure.
ha ha ha. And it's like, oh, I wonder if Ethan will take the other plane. And it's like, you didn't need to telegraph that. It was in the trailer. We know
There could just be another plane.
Yeah, you know, they could have just needed 2 because there was 2 of them. Like, it didn't need to be ha ha ha, wait and see. We've already seen it in the fucking trailer. You don't need to do that.
It's so earnest and it's so sincere, and yet there are so many elements of the screenplay that are like, oh, here you go, you fucking shit munchers. You're not paying attention, are you? Like, there's a spare plane, there you go. Yeah.
But I think what they've
And
wanted,
also,
tried to do is like a love letter to Ethan Hunt and like a real fan servicey kind of, let's give them what they want kind of movie, but they've taken it far too far, that it's too earnest and too sincere and too, oh my god, I love you guys, bye. And it's like,
but it's also dumb.
Yeah.
Like the countdown clock, right? How the fuck do they know that it's going to take the entity 3 days to breach everyone's systems?
Yeah.
Tank to the second as well.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid. Yeah.
But it's so sincere, and yet it's treating the audience with so much fucking hostility. I'm baffled by this film. Mark, what do you think of it?
I would just say I think I liked it more out of the 3 of us, is what I will say. Bits that I thought were stupid. The first 45 minutes are daft. It almost feels like the movie's sped up at points, like you're watching it on 1.5 times speed.
During some of those flashback sequences, I genuinely thought I was going to have a fucking seizure.
Yeah, but for no reason. Like, everything's happening really quickly. And I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you 3 hours long?
Yeah.
You both mentioned about the Bill, what's his name? Donlow. William Donlow bit, right? I'm going to go further. Why are they even there?
Because he gets...
No. There is actually no reason for them to be there, is what I'm saying. They don't need to be there. He sends them out there to go and get... It adds like an extra 20 minutes and there's a big action scene within that bit that I just don't think needs to be there. It elongates them getting to the point where... What? Because they have the... They need to get the coordinates and they need to get they need to get the chamber, the compression chamber to the point, right? But it didn't need all the other bits going on with that. Like you say, if you're gonna have that, fine. I don't even think you really need to have it. But if you're gonna have it, then you don't need to have an action set piece within it as well. You can just have it be,
well, like the
holy shit, it's the guy from number 1.
Yeah.
This is weird. And he just goes, oh yeah, gives them the coordinates, and then off they pop.
Yeah.
Right?
I liked as well that he had time to get that knife to give a present to Cruise.
But yeah, also as well, the other bit there is, I'm sorry, in all of that, there's no way he still got a knife from 30 years ago.
I don't think he would have been allowed to have kept that.
I don't think he'd have allowed...
evidence.
Yeah. But... So, yeah, it is too sincere at points.
Yeah.
At a lot of points, it's too sincere.
Yeah, and having fucking what's his name be Jim Phelps' son. Why? Didn't need to be.
Oh my
Didn't need to be.
God.
Yeah.
What? That never comes
It's
back.
because they... they've set up all this fucking shit in the first one, like Hunt's relationship with Gabriel, that just goes to nothing.
Yeah, but why can't Shea Wiggum just be Shea Wiggum?
Yeah.
He's fine
absolutely.
as a character.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be someone.
The whole, I mean, a fun thing. My brain came in when it was like, I'm sorry. So there's a black female president in America. Now this film just feels like it is just going too far into the realms of wouldn't happen.
Oh, and why is Nick Offerman's character just a cartoon?
He is. Yeah, he is. It's
ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's an awful lot of silliness within it.
I don't mind the silliness.
No, I don't mind silliness, but just that doesn't make sense, or that doesn't need to be there. Is what it's it. And the problem is, there's a lot of that within this, and it's a long movie. And the thing is, if you're making what is primarily an action movie, if it is going to be 3 hours long, which it is touching 3 hours long, not 2 hours, 2 hours, like 2.5 hours is different. Once you go beyond the 2.5 hour mark, and I'm just going to check to see if I'm talking absolute bobbies, but Fallout, I think, is pretty much bang on about 2.5 hours, right? But this is closer, is touching 3 hours. Once you go past that 2.5 hour mark, naturally, you've got to be doing an awful lot to justify it. And you can have very few excuses for extra padding.
Yeah, be long, but earn it.
Yeah, you 2.5 hours is easier to earn than 2 hours 45, and that extra 15 minutes, you need to do an awful lot more to earn that.
Yeah.
And the problem is, this struggles for that, and I don't think it probably does. It's not The Postman where it earns it all the time. What I will say though is, the biplanes thing is fucking great. Part of that is because it has levity within it. And it is just a sheer...
It's the levity, Gabriel.
Gabriel just laughing, yeah.
A really good time.
But like Ian said, Gabriel isn't a character in this. He is just a name that laughs.
I mean, because he gets the thing off of Luther.
Yeah.
And then do we see him again until they're in Africa like 2 hours later?
No, he rings him, doesn't he, and tells him.
Like, and okay, the
entities.
entities...
It is written.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
And the entities cut him off. And then, it was like, why did the entity get Hunt to go in the chamber to basically go, here's what's going to happen, but now you can probably work out how to defeat me?
Yeah.
And
why
does the entity have acolytes? What's that about?
I probably would, to be fair.
I mean, like, if it was so in the public sphere that there is an AI that is taking over the world and all this, maybe governments would be as ineffectual as they are here. Do you know what? Never mind.
But going to the things that I did like, I did like Pom.
Pom's great.
Yeah.
I want to see her in more.
Yeah.
I know that you didn't get on with it, Ian, but I really like the submarine bit when he gets out of it. Part of that is because it's underwater, and I like underwater shit because I'm scared of it. So the whole thing was like fucking terrifying, and I kept hitting Becky, like, which is what I do when I'm scared. I hit you like that.
That bit where he's like going to go out of the submarine, and the other submarine's behind him, and then it's all underwater.
And I was like, no, no. And
I think it was just I think it was just the fact that these films are so built up on he's doing this shit for real that just, like being, well, that could just be aided by CG. It kind of I was more impressed by the Rogue Nation, him holding his breath underwater and doing all that shit for ages.
I think I like the fact that for a little bit you got almost, for Mark anyway, almost like a psychological silent horror.
A lot of people have been like, that sequence is amazing, and I'm assuming that that is a subjective thing based on...
Yeah, 'cause it was getting me, and I was going, oh, I don't like this. I don't like it. Can it stop, but can I keep watching it before that? I do hope it's the last one.
Do you reckon it will be?
Yes, I think it will be.
I reckon.
I'm how, but it's built this up so much of like everything has come to this. It's all led to this, and now he's the one who's got the entity, and if he's like pulled out of that for any reason, then that risks the entity getting in the hands of someone else, unless that is what they do in another one.
I just don't.
Man, they just need to bin the entity off. Who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah, it's a shit villain.
Yeah.
The other bit is, we now know, because it showed us in this, that Ethan Hunt is 61 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he won't come back as an IMF agent. I could see him coming back.
Will there be another Mission Impossible movie at some point? Yes, but not by this creative team.
No, but I reckon he'll be in it as like the second.
I don't know.
The director.
I don't think he will, because I don't think that. I just don't see him being the pass the torch, but not be going. I kind of want to do that.
His ego won't let him now. Maybe in 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it'll come out like in the imminent future.
I think that there's almost a little bit of him and Christopher McQuarrie going, we need to get a lot of other bits done so we don't get tempted to do another one of these.
I will say as well, they need to stop writing around set pieces that Cruise wants to do.
Yeah, there is an element of that, because the other bit of it is, we like the biplane stuff, but there is an element of, this sequence is great and it's thrilling. Is it as thrilling and great as the helicopter sequence in Fallout?
No, that's
not. Is the underwater sequence in this, which I really enjoyed, is it as good and as thrilling as the underwater sequence in Rogue Nation, which is a lot smaller in scale, but probably not. But that's it. It was so large, this movie, that it felt a little bit... this has to be it. You don't go down from here. But to kind of start wrapping up with it, unless no one's got anything else to say.
I was just going to say, do you think that's part of its issue? It's got exponentially, it just gets bigger and bigger each time, and now it's just got to a point where it is just set pieces with a story kind of sort of written around it.
No, you don't need to.
But now also he's Jesus.
But you don't need to do that. You don't need... They fucked up because they made a shit villain in the last one. Yeah. And then they didn't know what to do with it. And the problem is, the reason why AI doesn't work as a villain cinematically is because you have to have somebody to hate. The idea of, it can be everywhere and nowhere, it isn't actually that fucking cinematic. A person is cinematic. You know, having
Do you
fucking...
know why AI doesn't work as a baddie?
Why?
Because it's already been done perfectly. The Terminator exists.
No, but even there, in the Terminator isn't AI, and then T-1000 isn't AI. They're the Terminators. They're different. They're not the AI.
But it is AI that's destroyed the world.
But it's AI that's destroyed the world.
It's the aftermath.
The villain is the Terminator, and then the fucking T-1000, and then that girl that spins her neck round. It's Reagan. So, yeah, they're the villains. You don't just have an entity that looks like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire logo. But Sean Harris, that's a fucking villain.
He's a good villain as well.
You know, granted, yeah, he looks like Curly Watts, but he's scary at least.
He is scary.
And that is the issue, is they done gone fucked up by trying to go a bit zeitgeisty in the last one. And it's...
Yeah, because it'll age it.
It'll age it like fuck.
Yeah.
But then they just went, do you know what? We're going to bin that off, and we're going to have this guy. Fuck it. We can't even be arsed with a villain. There isn't really a villain in this. The closest thing to a villain is Kittredge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on with him as well?
He's a bellend with a good voice, which I'm kind of alright with. But yeah, I like I say, it's nowhere near as good as Rogue Nation or Fallout.
No.
It's probably not as good as Ghost Protocol. I hope this is it.
I do think they should have tacked an ending onto Fallout.
They should have, yeah. They should have literally just had him going, turning round to fucking Ilsa and going, "Is that offer of just running away from all this still on the table?" Yeah, both they go off at the fucking sunset.
Get their Batman moment.
Yeah, that would have been better, because the problem is, there is I think I've said this to you, Becky, before. There is a genuine argument I think you can make. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think that people could make that Fallout is one of the best pure action movies of all time.
You say you don't agree with that?
I'm not saying I do agree with it or don't agree with it. I'm saying that...
Well, pick a side, Foster.
I'm saying that there are a few movies that you could put into and around it. Is Die Hard. You can put into and around it. Fucking Seven Samurai. I don't think you can necessarily put Heat into it, because that is a crime movie, a crime drama that has great action set pieces. But you could make a genuine argument for that. So where the fuck do you go after it? And the problem is, it's where they've gone just doesn't quite land. And you're looking back at it. You're not looking back at it and going, "Oh, we're looking back at fucking Mission Impossible 2. You're looking back at it and going, "Oh, we had Fallout." It's very difficult to... Because it is perfect.
It is, yeah.
It's very difficult to be perfect constantly.
They fucked themselves by making too good of a movie.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it would have worked as a wrap-up as well. Like, he sorts Ilsa out. He meets back up with Michelle Monaghan and discovers that she's happy and she's in a relationship, and she's really proud of him, and she understands why things went the way that they went. Benji and Luther are still alive. They get rid of Solomon.
Yeah, they get rid of a really good villain.
Yeah, it would have been the perfect place to end it.
I mean, I'm. Oh, am I definitely not shit?
I was. I don't know if I am anymore. I might be touching cloth.
I was after I watched it, but I don't know, which means that I'm probably touching cloth.
Yeah, I think I am too. That makes me sad.
I am looking forward to rewatching it though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Fair. I think if it hasn't clicked, if certain bits haven't clicked with you, basically, I think if you don't get along with at least both of the main set pieces, then I think it will just feel really
the
quite
bit where he's on the
overly long.
submarine and everything, and it's tipping and it's all like falling on him and trapping him and stuff like that. I think that's quite good. I like that.
So, our audience poll: definite shit 40%, touching cloth 40%, and shit 20%. Right, alright, fucking strap in, bitches. Mark's watched some stuff this week. Well, where should we start? Should we start with... so, we've already mentioned it. Because a few of these I'll speed round because of time and the fact that we mentioned them. We rewatched some of the Mission Impossible movies, so I rewatched Mission Impossible 3. I like how much fun Philip Seymour Hoffman is having in Mission Impossible 3. Like, I like how much fun he seems to be having. He's quite a good villain.
He's just a prick, though, isn't he?
He's such a prick. Ghost Protocol. It's incredibly silly, is Ghost Protocol. I think people forget how silly the Brad Bird directed Ghost Protocol is. But fuck me. Him climbing up the side of the Burj Khalifa
Oh, yeah, that's that one,
is
isn't it? Yeah.
just incredible.
I had to make myself a crib sheet the other day
And then...
of what the threat was in each of the movies. Because, like, it's... Okay, knock list, and then it's, like, plutonium, and then it's, like... And no, because after that it's the Bellerophon thing, in it, yeah. And it's, like, because they just... Yeah. There's so many.
There is so many. But, like, the bit where he swings round it as well. But this is what I like, and I said this to you, and it comes across in a lot of these movies, and it does a little bit in the, we're not going to talk about Dead Reckoning more. But what I like about him is he isn't always infallible. Like, when he goes through the window
Smashes
in
into the
this,
frame.
he smashes into the frame and they have to catch him. Like, he nearly dies. Yeah, really, I really like Ghost Protocol. But then we also watched Dead Reckoning, Fallout, Rogue Nation. Fallout, Rogue Nation are perfection. Partially because of Becky Fergs walking in that yellow dress.
It's a good dress.
It's a hell of a dress.
Yeah. Shoes. Shoes, please.
Yeah. And just the shoes bit that keeps coming up is just great. Yeah, they're just both perfect. We spoke about them quite a lot. I actually quite liked. I like Dead Reckoning more on this watch.
I'm hoping that happens with Final Reckoning.
Yeah, right. Is that all I've watched? Another two. Right, so I'll cover these two. Right.
You were giving it the big one about how, like, strap in and whatnot.
Oh, it's more about...
Like,
it's not about that. It's about the quality of the things that I've watched. I got one. I thought another one. Fucking yeah. Who can forget this bad boy?
It's not the length, it's the girth. Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Ian.
Hi.
Ian.
Yeah.
The American Film Company.
What? The Motion Picture Corporation of America?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I watched. Right. It's got Garrett Dillahunt.
What'd you watch?
It's got Tom Felton and a guy called Jake Abel in it.
Cool.
It's called Against the Sun. Right?
Okay.
So what is... They play 3 Navy airmen who are shot down, right, in the middle of the South Pacific. And it's based on a true story. And they are just in like a life raft, and they don't know exactly where they are. And like Garrett Dillahunt is obviously their captain, and he's like, I think we have to get over there, and he starts trying to make what is it? And it's basically how they get food, how they get water, and how they survived getting from fucking middle of the South Pacific to this weird fucking island called Papuka that they get to there. It's not bad. I had a good time. They make a good movie. Garrett Dillahunt's fun in it. It's helped by the fact that the other guy in it, Jake Abel, he's really good. Like he's like, I'm watching going, I hope that guy actually goes on to be being quite a lot of things, because he's just very good in it and a very charismatic screen presence. Do you know who's not a charismatic screen presence or very good?
Go on.
Tom Felton. Tom Felton might be the worst actor that has ever existed. That is an actual actor. Not just like the worst performance ever given by a person or anything like that, but as an actual actor. He struggles at the very basics of seeming like an actual person. Not like a child that has somehow Josh Baskined himself into this situation. And he's just pretending because he thinks that's how grown-up humans act. It's scary how bad he is, and yet he has a career. But Against the Sun, I had a good time with it. It's fun in points. It's perilous in you get the peril. Like, they do dumb shit that then go, that was fucking dumb. Like, they accidentally catch a fish at some point. And then they're using the rest of like the fish as like bait for what is it? But they're putting like bits of like chum essentially into the water, and a lot of fucking sharks turn up. We're like, oh, that was a bad idea. but literally, that's what they say. It's one of them just goes, oh my god, there's a shark, and then one of them just goes, oh, that was a bad idea, wasn't it? Like, yeah, in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have done that. But that is the actual exchange that they have. And it's just bits like that. But it's 90 minutes long. And yeah, I had a good time with it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like they have a problem and then they solve it fucking dead quick. Like, well, we don't have any rope. How are we gonna make a fishing rope if we don't have any rope? Wait a minute, I just found some rope. It's literally like that. But yeah, that was good. Right. Has anybody heard of a comedy troupe called Please Don't Destroy?
Yeah, the SNL guys. You watched their film, did you?
Yes, I watched Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. Are they SNL guys?
Yeah.
Are they? Didn't know that. Right. Knew nothing about these guys. Right? Watched it, and it's this troupe of 3 guys. Yeah. Martin Henry, John Higgins, and Ben Marshall. So knew nothing about them. Right. It's weird, this film, in the sense that it is both, at points, want to tear your own face off irritating. Like, just, no. Stop. But also, it is actually quite funny at points. And there's, out of the 3 of them, like 2 of them are genuinely quite good comedians. One of them isn't. So the guy in the middle on the poster, he isn't. Okay. The ginger one, it is quite funny, and the guy with the curly hair, he's quite funny.
Okay.
He's described in the film as that one who looks like a Tim Burton drawing. And it gets mentioned to him later on, and he kind of looks around as everyone else looks at him and goes, "Oh yeah." But yeah, it's annoying that, like, I thought when I started watching, I got 10 minutes into it, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I watching this? And then I laughed and went, oh god, no, I'm actually watching this, aren't I? Fine. And I'm not going to say it's good, because it's not. But I'm also not going to say that I didn't chuckle enough throughout and actively laugh out loud a few times. So I was alright with this.
Fair.
Yeah. So it's not a recommend, but if you have ever watched any of their sketches, which I'm assuming that's what they do, or skits, and you've laughed at them, or you find 2 out of the 3 of them funny, then there's probably enough in it that you'll have a perfectly decent, like, fucking lunch break watch, like I did.
Yeah. I need to watch it at some point. I quite like them.
If you like them, don't get me wrong, there will be bits that you will go, this is just... There's a big long stretch for about 10-15 minutes where it's just annoying. But then there is enough just genuine funny bits in it. Like, the opening bit is their car's broken down, so they get on their rollerblades to go to work, and they're having this great morning, like, rollerblading to work and, like, saying hi to everybody and getting, like, their breakfast and getting, like, their drink, and it's all this, what is it? And they're doing it in tandem, and it all fucking works, and you like watch it going, this is annoying, but I'm kind of having fun. And then they rock up at work when they all work at the same place, and their boss is the ginger guy's dad, and he's played by Conan. Not the Destroyer, O'Brien. And bless you. And they get there and they go, morning, how's everyone? Is everyone ready for a day? And Conan just goes, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. And like, and you realise that they've just, like, been doing all this shit for hours, not just, like, on their way to work.
Alright.
So yeah, but it's that kind of comedy. And there's a long running joke that the ginger guy who's dad's Conan, the O'Brien, not the Barbarian. There's a long running joke in it that he fucking hates him Like the dad fucking hates him and thinks that he's a huge disappointment and barely even a person rather than a man.
Wow.
Yeah. And they keep telling him, it's like, no, he doesn't hate me. It's like, no, hate would be too strong a word. He'd have to acknowledge that you were a person to hate you. But yeah, I had a decent enough time. And then, right, I watched a movie called Blue Juice. A British movie from
Blue Juice?
1995, yeah. You ever seen this, Ian?
Is it a surfing
It is a
film?
surfing film.
You love surfing.
It stars Sean Pertwee,
Yeah. That's
Catherine
right,
Zeta-Jones, Ewan McGregor, and Stephen McIntosh. Yep.
And that old dirty mistress, the sea.
And the sea, yeah. So, Sean Pertwee plays JC, who is like hot shit in his little Cornwall town. Because he's the only surfer who surfed the Boneyard, which is like a rocky surf break that you just can't surf because it's too rocky and you'll die. But he once surfed it. And he's like a legend round there. But it's just kind of like he's a big fish in a small... Yeah, you get the metaphors.
Yeah.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones is his girlfriend, and she's just kind of sick of his fucking bullshit. And then she's about to fucking bin him off because of all this lot. And then his mates from London turn up, played by Ewan McGregor, who plays a drug dealer who is selling the stories of his record producer mate, played by Steve McIntosh, to try and get a job at a shady newspaper, which is supposed to be The Sun. And the Sun's editor is Keith Allen, of course. And they've kidnapped their other friend, who is has a normal job and bits like that, to get him basically to give him the stag night that he won't have, and they just feed him loads of drugs. And it's kind of like the whole story is it's JC trying to realise that, well, do you know what? Being the big fish, the big catch that he's got is her.
Whoa.
But then also you've got fucking Steve McIntosh just wandering around, just kind of being the big I am, because he's this big record producer that's had all these hits. And then he ends up wandering accidentally into a Northern Soul club, and they slam the doors and trap him in there. And then he's got to dance his way out. That literally happens.
Dances were.
Great.
They literally slam the door and basically chew him out about the fact that he's fucking sold out his roots and all this lot. And then they literally put a record on, and he just has to start dancing like Northern Soul dancing this record, and then they kind of all like him after that. He has to dance his way to their hearts to find his fucking roots again. Yeah. It's a great film. I had a fucking great time. Nostalgia rating as the motherfucker for me, because I was rented it loads when I was a kid, and I think I rented it and then I legally copied it on another video, so I had a copy of it. Don't
tell the FBI.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, so that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you watch Bex.
I only watched one movie that wasn't Mission Impossible based. I watched the 1982 movie Tron.
Oh, you did watch Tron, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, nice.
Tron's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it
I
is.
like it. I enjoy my time while I'm watching it, but the story doesn't really make an awful lot of fucking sense. There's an awful lot of suspension of disbelief that you have to employ while watching this movie to make it make any sense.
Yeah, but did you see
Computer programs are people. They live in the MCP. It's all a bit weird.
Did you see how badass the graphics were though?
To be fair though, they're not bad for the time.
No.
But do you know what? I'll always like it because I like Jeff Bridges, and it doesn't really matter if he's in a nonsense movie about programs being people in a computer, because he's Jeff Bridges and he just brings a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yep.
Yeah, it's... Do you know what? I remember watching Tron Legacy and going, oh, it's good, but it's not as good as the first one. And then watching the first one again and going, oh, actually this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. Tron Legacy is better than Tron.
Well, there's more of a... I mean, not a logical narrative, but there is more of a followable, actual narrative. I reckon.
And then we've got Ares coming out later on this year.
Yeah, well, I did start Legacy and haven't had a chance to finish it, so that will be on next week's roundup. But yeah.
Ian, what have you watched?
Yo. Okay. Let's very quickly say that we finished off the studio.
Ooh, we hadn't started
this
that
week.
Yet. Oh, wait.
No.
But should I?
Yeah, no, it good. I enjoyed it. I think the more you like movies, the more you'll get out of it. But Donna watched it all and had a good time as well, and she does not give a fuck. So that probably says something. End strong. I'll also say we've caught up with HBO, I believe, show Hacks, which is on Sky in the UK, which it's Gene Smart is a comedian, starts the first season as like a Las Vegas act, gets a new writer played by actress Hannah Einbender, who hasn't really been in anything, but it's just been like films, but it's just been cast in Jane Schoenbraun's new film with Gillian Anderson, which I believe is a slasher, which is interesting. But yeah, and it's their very tumultuous relationship as they progress her career away from Las Vegas and onto other things. It's a half-hour comedy, and it is funny. And the latest episode, the last episode of season 4 is this week. The latest episode, for me, was literally the emotional... what I actually needed to see in an episode of Hacks for like a good 2 seasons. And it was great. So I've really been enjoying my time with that, and I very much recommend it. Movies. So... not too much, actually. We're going to talk about Fountain of Youth next week. Rewatched Asteroid City, which I really like. Becky.
I like Asteroid City.
Shit.
Yeah, I think it's Wes Anderson doing his thing, but I really, really like the relationship between Jason Schwartzman and Scarlett Johansson in the film. These two really fucking broken people just finding each other in this really weird situation. I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. And Tom Hanks, I think, is really fucking good in Asteroid City as well. So there we are. Watched Hercules. Lots had never seen it, so we stuck it on. Meg, hot.
The Disney one, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it. Like the commercialization of Hercules thing is like mad.
Yeah.
Just the Disney are really just calling themselves out on this, aren't they? But fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Good voice cast. James Woods, like, say what you want about the man, he fucking rocks the shit out with Hades in this.
Good voice.
He's got a good voice, yeah. He might be an absolute piece of shit, but he has a good voice.
I think we had this conversation a bit back, didn't we, when he was one of my audiobook people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but I like Hercules. But yeah, the Venetian Scheme. So, Wes Anderson's latest stars Benicio del Toro, who he was in The French Dispatch. I don't think he's been in anything else, Anderson, but he is in the lead here, and he plays Jar Jar, a ruthless businessman who he basically like kind of fucks governments over left, right, and centre. He recalls his only daughter. He's got 9 boys and 1 girl, I think. And she is basically going to become a nun, played by Kate Winslet's daughter, Mia Fruppleton, who really fucking sounds like a young Kate Winslet.
Oh.
It's weird. Like, she's in a nun costume for basically the entire thing, and like she's like very closed in and restrained. So, but whenever she speaks, she sounds like Kate Winslet. So he recalls her from being a nun, and basically says, because of market manipulation against me, I'm being fucked over, and I want you to learn the family way. I want you to inherit like everything, while I try and convince my business partners to help fund the gap in my finances to get a project we're all working on going. Which is like not very Wes Anderson in its plotting. They are also joined by Michael Cera, who plays a tutor, who was basically there to teach Benicio del Toro's character and his sons about insects, but becomes his PA. So they go around different areas of a fictional country, Phoenicia, and have kind of episodic encounters with like Riz Ahmed in one bit, Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston, Scarlett Johansson, Matthew Almeric, Jeffrey Wright, loads of people, while a thread through the film plays about how the girl may not actually be his daughter and may actually be Benicio del Toro's brother's daughter, and he is Uncle Nubar, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who also may or may not have murdered her mum. So there's quite a lot going on there, but it's also I have made us a suitcase full of supplies. Here are the things that are in the supplies. 1 blah blah blah, 2 blah 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 blah, 1 blah 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 in brackets blah blah blah, 1 blah 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 blah. All static shots of things that look like they could be like Louis Vuitton items. Yeah. With stylized fonts saying what they are.
The image that's in my brain right now is the exact image that is on screen, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. So I really, and I'm not going to say I really like the Venetian Scheme. I liked the Venetian Scheme. I like Wes Anderson. I like his world. I like his vibe. George basically said the same in his Letterboxd review, and I'm right there with him there. It is just the most autopilot he has been on in a while. And I don't necessarily see that he needed to say anything with this. It's almost like he had a free picture deal and was just like, yeah, I need to do something. But there's some delightful stuff in it. Like Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston have a kind of a double act in this, which I really enjoyed. Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with his character's makeup. It's bizarre. But I enjoyed him and his weird off-kilter vibe. Michael Cera in this is ace. I actually thought Mia Thruppleton was really good as well. And Benicio del Toro, there is an emotional arc there, and it works. But there's just an ephemeral quality to the whole of the film where genuinely I'll struggle to remember it in a week.
Right.
And you know, other than it sounds really damning, but I wouldn't be surprised if you gave an AI enough prompts that it would actually make some of the images in this film. Like Wes Anderson prompts. It feels inessential.
Right.
But if you like Wes Anderson, he's on his shit again. And, you know, so there's almost like he's never, for some people, including me, he's never going to get below a certain bar. But the Venetian Scheme, for me, is at that bar. And that's fine.
But
I think.
Just to say that, I can see what you're saying, but then if he churns out in the next few years another couple of these, is it going to get a little bit like, can I need you to do something? Because I get this, but just repeating the same thing over and over again.
Shit in it. There's enough shit in it in terms of things that happen and dialogue that is stuff that is uniquely Wes Anderson. I think there are visuals in this that are stereotypically Wes Anderson. But there's enough in it. I get your point, and that's interesting. I think I'd like him to maybe not make a film every 2 years.
Because I was reading a thing and it was written by, I can't remember the name of the guy, but I read about it. It's by a guy who very much was like, I am, to put it like, it was saying, I'm a Wes Anderson fan. I don't love all of his movies, but there's not a single one I dislike. And the guy was saying they liked them. But what he was saying was that he felt that at some point that creatively there's an act that he feels, and whether or not, I'm not even sure I necessarily even agree with it, but I thought it was an interesting point. Was the point he made was, at some point it might be good for Wes Anderson creatively to make a film that his fans not like try and do this, but to make a Wes Anderson film that his fans just go, yeah, didn't really get on with that. It's a bit
cult,
shit.
though.
Pardon?
It's a cult, it'll never happen.
No, but I'm just saying, for him to go, alright, I need to... The thing that you said is if he's made this and it felt a bit like he's on autopilot, but you just like the aesthetic of the world and everything like that. But the problem is, if he does the next one and it's autopilot, but it's with a little bit less effort, it's just then you're very much getting closer to the point of where you're going. People who are a little bit on the edge of it going, you will literally, he can do anything, and you will go, genius.
I'm not saying genius. Like, there's the emotional arc in it is strong enough. There's some stuff with Sarah's character which is genuinely quite delightful, I thought. And like I say, Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston, good double act and whatnot. It just... like I say, there's nothing that feels essential, and specifically the visuals are as fucking autopilot as he's been in a while, which is wild to say, like, considering what the visuals are, but they're just him on his shit. But there's enough in there. At the same time, if there's relatively low effort ones like this continue coming out, I think that will lessen, and the ratings will lessen. You know, this played Cannes and got okay responses, and like no fucker was saying, "Oh, Benicio del Toro for best actor," or Anderson for best screenplay. It plays Cannes, it's kind of expected, it does nothing. That's what Wes Anderson films do now. And he probably does need to challenge himself. But at the same time, I thought there was enough in the film to give it a solid recommend.
That's fine, because I'm still looking forward to it.
To be fair, dude, you haven't seen it.
No, that's fine. But I'm still looking forward to it. I just found it interesting. It's more the response that people have had to it that I found quite interesting. I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I think it looks good. And I'm going to go and see it, hopefully, this week. But I've just found it interesting, the fact that I've not heard anybody... Because I know quite a few people who like Wes Anderson films. I'm interested that everyone said the same thing of, it's good. It's fine. I just like being in that world.
I mean, Asteroid City...
I like being in that world.
I think is... Asteroid City, low-key, I think might be one of his best films.
And I agree with you on that. Yeah.
So, you know, there's just... I think it's a step down. But I still really like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll talk more when you've seen it. Okay. Final Destination Bloodlines. Finishing up tonight's show. Twitter questions, obviously. Or Instagram questions. Or what do we do?
Instagram.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein. And starring a girl who looks like a young Jennifer Lawrence for 20 minutes. And then she's out of it. And then you've got Caitlin Santa-Yuana, Tio Briones, Rhea Kilstead, Richard Harmon, Owen Patrick Joyner, Anna Law, and Tony Todd. Okay. And plagued by a recurring violent nightmare, a college student returns home to find the one person who can break the cycle and save her family from the horrific fate that inevitably awaits them. Mark, Final Destination Bloodlines. Go.
I think overall I enjoyed it. The kills, I a little bit struggled with the build up, and that's because it's really well directed with that. They get you going, oh no, something's going to happen that's bad, and I don't like it. I don't want to see it, but also I want to know where this is going. So I struggled a little bit with that in terms of it was effective, but I also just was a bit like, I just kind of want it to have happened so I can move on to the next bit.
You're not losing your gore receptor, are you?
A little bit. But then again, it was just, there was a lot of like OTT lingering gore. Whereas I think previous Final Destinations have done like gore. This was gore. They showed you a little bit too much at points. But they also did fucking drop a piano on that kid.
I enjoyed
which
that
was
bit so
great.
much, yeah.
And the shitty fucking maitre d' got sliced in half by the lift, which was great. So there was all of that. It's too fucking long.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So there was a bit that I was going to say to you and I forgot to say.
We watched it at different times, didn't we?
Yeah. So I was watching it and I was like, and I thought this was really good actually. I was watching it, I was like, there is no fucking way that guy is those two's brother. Absolutely no fucking way.
Yeah.
That's really bad casting. And then it turns out he was like, not.
But
I enjoyed that.
I will get to the bits that I enjoyed in a second. Okay. But my main issue is horror movies need to stop doing this. Stop making your lead character. By the way, the lead character Iris in the opening bit, delight. Liked her.
Yeah.
Spiky. Then the one we've got to go through the actual full blown of the movie with, I was like, I don't like you.
No.
You're not fun. You're not spiky. You're just a bit fucking miserable and a bit of a knobhead. And you keep doing that weird wide-eyed thing.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm like, I don't think any of these things would have happened if you weren't there. I think you're causing all of this. So yeah. But I enjoyed it. It's too long. The story doesn't make sense. It doesn't need to make sense. But it's effective in its kills, but I just maybe didn't vibe with it as much as other people seem to.
Do you know what though? It does need to make sense. We need to stop, and this is something that I've raised on the podcast before. We need to stop just accepting shitty writing. This is supposed to be a movie that like pulls together all the Final Destinations and everything's supposed to hang from this. It needs to be clever.
I don't know if it does.
It does to work, otherwise why make it? Do it well or don't do it.
Did you enjoy it? What did you think of it?
Yeah, do you know what? It's fine. I said to you, it kind of feels similar to me as a franchise to like the Saw franchise, where you've got a really strong opening movie and then a load of generic horror movies that follow it with good kills. The difference is Saw successfully builds a mythology and this one doesn't. With the exception of that one where it ends up and it's like, oh fuck, it's the plane from the first one. Nothing really very cleverly ties together.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, the opening's great. Iris in the opening is great.
The opening's fantastic. I could have watched more of that movie. If it was a traditional
Final Destination movie and it then followed her and her discovering that this is a thing and death is following her and blah 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 blah, I would have enjoyed it an awful lot more than what we got. I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't dislike it. It's fine and there's some good kills. And those two annoying twats getting fucking rolled over by two falling logs at the end. Quite enjoyed that. But yeah. Yeah, I just didn't love it. And I was really sad when, like, Peanut Butter Man died.
He was quite nice.
He was quite sweet. And Pacing Guy.
Oh, that was a good
yeah, it was,
wasn't
it? Yeah, it was, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, but Peanut Butter Guy gets like impaled through the face with a spring thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to die. The fact that he so readily accepted it and then was just really scared was just so cute. I really liked him.
What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I thought the build up was nicely paced in this, where it wasn't okay, let's just get on with it, but not too quick as well. That the MRI sequence is a highlight for the whole franchise, I think.
So grim.
Yeah.
It is.
When all his piercings ripping out and then like the crotch of his pants starts like going as well.
Yeah. Rough as fuck. You know, the problem with it is with these films that like the format of them is basically the same every single fucking time, and it is with this as well. You know, by the end, everybody's dead. You know, so. Yeah, I get why this was so successful, because it's going to be for a lot of like 14, 15-year-olds. They probably haven't seen any Final Destination films. And they're like, oh, okay, this is a name I think I've heard of. I'll go see this. Like, it feels to me like if you did one of these every 2 years, you're not going to get a $50 million opening weekend. You do one of these every 10 years, you will. And, you know, that's the way they probably need to go. You know, I think, you know, the death sequences are decent. The rest of it is coming to the point now where it's just like, who cares? Because they're all going to die.
Yeah.
But that's what we've come here for. And, you know, I liked the fake out with Eric, but then at the same time, it was like, what? So all that Rune Goldberg stuff was happening, but then it wasn't death? Like, why did that all happen in the tattoo parlour then?
Yeah.
If he wasn't marked.
Yeah.
But I did like the whole, well, why did he die on this one? It's just like, you know, if you fuck with death, it's gonna fuck with you, you know? And it's like, yeah, alright, fair enough. But, so...
That's a good point there. There's all a bit with in the tattoo parlour. I did quite like that fake out there. That was quite good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was great. When he pops up again, it was like, what the fuck? But and then the whole her guessing what was going to happen, and then it doesn't happen to him, it happens to the sister.
Yep.
You know, that was great. And her fucking head being crushed by the garbage truck thing, man, that was...
Grim.
That was something. So, you know, I don't think we probably have to talk about this too much, to be honest.
No,
I thought it was a good time.
It's bits in between kills.
Pardon me. Yeah, you know, and I liked them well enough, but I think I probably liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the third one more. I think I liked Sauer and Larter in the first one more. Yeah. But I did like Eric, and I did like the peanut butter lad.
Yeah, their little
So,
side adventure
you know.
was quite fun.
And their whole thing about the, we got to take a life to blah, 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 and then they're outside the fucking maternity ward. That was funny.
Yeah, him turning around and sitting next to that woman and going, how long do you reckon you got left? What? And he goes, oh, nothing. He was quite fun. Isn't it?
Yeah. He knew what he was in. He was having a good time with it. So yeah.
I mean, definitely not shit. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, definitely not shit.
Our audience poll for
Thanks.
that one.
Yeah, definitely not shit. It was fun enough. I just wish it was better.
Definitely not shit, 62%. Touching cloth, 38%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, questions.
We do have a couple of questions. Let me just find them. Why is it doing that? Why are you doing that? There we go. That's better. Andrew Jones asks us, what final destination death would Ethan Hunt almost die in if it happened to him?
Oh, wow.
Say that again, sorry.
What Final Destination death would Ethan Hunt almost die in if it happened to him? So it's whatever death, but Ethan Hunt wouldn't die in it, but he would almost die in it. Which one would be most likely to happen to him?
So it'd be a situation that he was actually in. Probably the bridge collapse in the fifth one.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably about right. I don't think he goes to see Motor Speedway on his day off.
No, I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's like you can't imagine him at the fucking DIY store. You can't imagine him at a fairground.
I don't think he's got his dick pierced.
No.
Doesn't seem very Ethan Hunt, does it?
No, it would.
Unless he keeps a lockpick in there.
Metal detector.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's probably the right answer.
Don't fly commercial, so the first movie's out.
No, he always flies military.
Yeah.
And Dylan asks us, aside from the previous...
I don't know, he is quite unlucky with cars. There's one where a car stalls on a railway track, isn't there?
Yeah.
In fact, doesn't that happen in one of the Mission Impossible movies? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one then.
In Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, well that silly bitch leaves him locked in the car.
Anyway... aside from the previously discussed Superdog, what are the worst on-screen animals? I'll go for James Corden's Peter Rabbit. Also, he does preface, the cats from Cats don't count, Ian.
No, but they are animals, so why not?
I didn't think when I read that, I thought,
low hanging fruit.
Ian's going to go, why don't they count?
But, no, I mean, okay, alright, fine, so I can't have that. No, I refuse to answer the question, fuck you.
Oh, that's exactly what I thought you were going to say. And I love it. Worst on-screen animal.
Like, worst done? Sebastian in The Little Mermaid. The
What?
live action Sebastian in The Little Mermaid.
I can't see that. I don't want to see it. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
No, I think it means biggest dickhead animal.
Oh, the chap out of Watership Down.
Oh, Gerald Woundwort.
Yeah.
What a prick.
Yeah.
Absolute piece of shit, that guy.
Don't like him then.
Don't like him, no. What an absolute twat. I mean, Simba from The Lion King is the right answer.
The Siamese guys in Lady and the Tramp are also
I like
kind
those
of funny.
guys.
Yeah, but you like...
I dig their vibe.
Oh, the mouse. Jerry, he's a bit of a dickhead.
What?
Off of Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? And that fucking Roadrunner.
Oh, we like Roadrunner, no?
Fuck no. I'm Team Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, fair. Oh, I saw one that.
Fuck you, Roadrunner, you
What's
beeping
happening with
twat.
that, mate?
It comes out later this year.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. That's it. Right answer's Roadrunner. What are we covering next week, Ian?
And there we are. Fountain of Youth for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. There's not much on.
What's out? What is out?
I mean, we will be watching Fear
Karate
Street.
Kid Legends.
Oh yeah. What?
We will be watching.
Oh, is Fear Street out next week?
Now.
It's out now.
Oh, fuck it. We'll do that in Fountain of Youth next week then.
Yeah. I will probably go and watch Karate Kid. But I don't expect anyone else to.
I actually quite want to watch that.
What's this?
What's this? What's what?
J-Hope. That's a play. Yeah. And I'm not going to watch the Reload Stitch movie because it just looks fucking terrifying. It's nightmare fuel, that.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Fair.
Yeah.
Right. I need to go. So I'm going to say thank you very much for listening, folks. Fuck you, Jason. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you very much.